Hello everybody again. Here's another one of my videos. I'm on the driver's side here now, on the bogey wheel, and it's all cleaned off as I was waiting for parts to come in, because what I done was, on the other side I didn't have the same problem I had over here. I took everything apart and I found out that my wheel bearings, the grease was really bad and everything, so I decided, okay, I'm going to take the wheel hub off, take the bearings out, repack them, and put them back in, and I won't ever have to worry about them again in my lifetime. Well, anyway, when I took this one off first, I damaged the seal, which is this thing, this bad boy right here. And you probably can't see it, but inside there's a rubber area right here where rubber's supposed to go in there, and it got tore out. So that means this seal was no good. And so to replace these seals here in our area, it costs $50 each. $50 for this thing. So anyway, like everything else now, I had to go online, and luckily I found a place that had them, and I got two of them. They were $22 a piece, and I got two of them for $46 with the tax and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, it's the very same thing, very same place. It's designed the same way. I show you when I put the new one on. It says that everything the same. That this is the bearing side right here. This goes against the bearing when you put it on. But you'll see it how I put it together. But anyway, this bad boy caused me a lot of problems. When I took off the other side, though, I was more careful trying to get it off, and it came off a little bit easier than this side did. So probably it was together with age or something, who knows. Well, anyway, I just cleaned everything all off after I got the bearings all off, and to protect the spline shaft, I mean the shaft where the bearing sits on when it's mounted in the wheel hub, I put a plastic bag over it to protect it and everything like that. And now the next thing I want to do is, I got the bearing all cleaned. I'm going to show you how I repack the bearing, but that's going to be the next video. But this time here, I want the bearing to be real. I want it to be dry. So what I want to do is, I want to feel here before I want it to be dry, because I feel like if you can get the bearing on this surface, that's one bearing surface right here, and this is the other one. This is the inner, and this is the outer. And so if the bearing goes on there nice and dry, and you can get it in there fairly, I won't say easy, but it'll slip on nice, well then you just got to take your time trying to put the wheel hub back on it when it's fully assembled. Anyway, we're going to take the bearing, which is clean now, and I'll tell you how I cleaned it, and you can do the same. You don't need a whole lot of expensive equipment to do all this kind of stuff. That's why I call myself the poor man's converter. But anyway, the bearing in the normal circumstance is going to go on like this. The bigger part of the bearing goes on first. This here goes inside. Of course, it goes against the race, and you can see I got it nice and clean, and it looks like brand new. In fact, I don't know how old this is, but there's no rust on it, no nothing. So anyway, I'm going to put the bearing on the shaft, and I sanded just a little bit with some paper there. I want to see if the bearing will go on dry. If it doesn't do that, and it goes on nice. So I feel I lucked out right there. I don't have to sand it. But if I had to sand it, this is what I would have done. I would have got some, let's see, what, I think this is 180. 180 paper. Just tear a nice strip. Take that there. And you just want to say, well, you can sand a little bit the whole surface where the bearing is going to go, in case there's a little nicks or anything like that, to make it nice and smooth. But the area you want to concentrate on is the very beginning right here, then, where it goes on there. So you want to put like a little chamfer on there if you can with the paper. And you might want to think of doing the same right here for the small bearing. And you ought to try to fit the small bearing on as well. But anyway, I'm just going to show you what you have to do. Just concentrate on the very beginning, where the bearing is going to go, so that you're like taking any rough edges that might be on there, and there wasn't any, but I just want to show you what you can do. Now you do it from the bottom too. Now I'm going to just put a couple passes up here. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And down here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to polish the outer bearing surface area a little. And you can see it's got little, not gouges, but little indentations there. Sand that. Sand that. And concentrate on this edge right here, because it's a pretty sharp edge right there. You want nothing holding up your bearing when you go to put it on there permanently. Okay. Now, I'm going to wipe it all off because I got a little sand on there, I'm sure. And take my blower. Okay. Now, let's see, I'm going to try this again one more time. So if I got it on once without it sanding, it ought to go on pretty good now, I think. Got to get it on there pretty straight. And there you go. You just got to make sure it's straight, because boy, those fittings are pretty tight. And where's my little bearing here? And we're going to hit the little bearing same way. Now the bearing this way, the smaller outer bearing, of course, you can see that the bearing is chamfered the way it's made. So this way, it's going to go on the spindle here, this way here. So you want to make sure that goes on there. If it doesn't, you got to work on that one there too a little bit with sandpaper. And there we go. So what that tells me is it's going to go on, but I've got to be careful. I'm going to have fun trying to get it on there straight all by myself. Because these babies, that part is pretty heavy, but I ought to be able to do it. I did it on the other side. Anyway, the next procedure, and make sure to protect at all times when you're working on this. Protect your brake shoes and everything like that. That way there, you won't get grease on them or cleaner or anything like that. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to repack the bearing. I'll show you how I do that. In case you're wondering, well, how do you get the grease in there and without getting it all over your hands and that kind of crap. So anyway, I'll see you over at the work table.